Actually, I'm going to introduce you real quick first. So
Okay.
it has been my enormous privilege to work with JJ the past several months on our new middle school curriculum. So she's doing a great job on that. And she's doing a lot of music on that as well, which will tie into this presentation. In addition to that, JJ is a Spanish teacher, a blogger, presenter, trainer, curriculum writer, and a coach with 10 years of classroom success. She's presented nationally and internationally on brain-based language instruction and works with teachers around the globe to implement CI. She geeks out about using comprehensible input to implement the principles of applied educational neuroscience in her classroom. She shares insights, tips, and curriculum at www.senorajotajota.com and contributed extensively to the online Nuestra Historia Puentes, like I just mentioned. She's a 2023 NEA Foundational Global Learning Scholar. In her free time, she enjoys abusing her passport, drinking too much coffee, raising triplets, and being the wife to a horse whisperer who trains wild Mustangs. So JJ, welcome, and we're very excited for your presentation today.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a great introduction. So did you know that music elevates our moods? It shows us a different perspective so we can empathize with others. When used properly, it can strengthen group bonds and build appreciation for others. And according to John Medina, in his book, Brain Rules, doctors believe that we are born musical. I can attest to this as a mom of triplets. Let me check the chat real quick here. Okay, music rocks, awesome. As a mom of triplets, when my triplets were in utero, I would play the soundtrack to The Music Man really, really loudly. And when the song 76 Trombones in the Big Parade would come on, literally my stomach would just light up with kicks and punches. My kids loved listening to music, still do. I have one majoring in music at IUPUI. I have one minoring in music at IU. All three still play their instruments. So I believe definitely that we are born musical. Music also improves your memory and aids in remembering mathematical formulations and sequences of numbers. Music triggers memories and transports us through time. How often do you hear a song and you're immediately transported to a different place in time? It happens to me all the time. I'll hear a song play on the radio and I will instantly be transported back to high school. Listening to music decreases your cortisol levels. And I don't know about you, but this year my cortisol levels are pretty dang high. Music helps lower our stress because rocking and swaying to a rhythm dampens the stress response system. So if we are stressed, our students are going to pick up on that. And we all know that they're already at record levels of stress. And so playing music, gentle music, loud music, thumping music, whatever suits you, swaying and rocking to a rhythm really dampens, really lowers your stress response. So also playing music, this is a picture from my classroom a few years ago, makes your classroom the place where all the cool kids hang. And in my classroom, the rule is everybody in my classroom is the cool kid. So if you come into my classroom, even if you're not my student, all the cool kids hang with us. So it has the power to make your classroom the place to be. So we already talked about who I am. Today, we're going to talk about the power of music. We're going to talk about how to strike the right note with music in your classroom. I'm going to share with you how to make music your forte. And also I have some resources to share, and I have not just a handout for you, but links to free resources for you to use that I think are pretty cool. So let's dig right in and go to the power of music. Music tells a story. And when we engage in storytelling in our classroom, we synchronize our brains with our listeners. So, and this isn't just a hypothetical situation. This has science to back it up. You literally are making connections between your brain and the brain of your listener. And so using music, because music videos and songs have so many stories to tell, using music helps you create those actual connections with your student's brain. If you missed Gary DiBianca's session from Thursday night about storytelling, you need to go back and watch the recording, because he provides a zillion ways to up your storytelling game. And it's all, he did it all based on this year's students. So it's really, really good session. Pure gold, as a matter of fact. Music helps provide salience to your content. And by salience, I mean, what is this picture? Take a moment and think, what is this picture to you? Just brainstorm in the chat. Flavor, spicy, heat, spicy vegetable, red hot chili pepper, colorful, delicious, summer market. I love that. To me, this red pepper, like, I don't even see the green ones. I see the red ones. I love spicy food. So this makes my mouth water, and it makes me want to go to the market and make some spicy Szechuan chicken, or some spicy Thai, or make a spicy salsa, hot and spicy. For some people, however, it's the opposite. They see that and they see danger. What salience is, then, is the red pepper is salient. It's vivid. It stands out. It's conspicuous. It's prominent. It's notable. So salience or vividness influences the weight we give a particular piece of information. Saliency, or how interesting a particular thing is important, because the availability heuristic tells us, and a heuristic is just like a rule or a law that we use to make sense of things. So the availability heuristic tells us that just because it's interesting to me doesn't mean it's salient or stands out or interesting to our students. And so what music can help us do is create that salience. Especially the more we use it and the more varieties of music that we include in our classroom, the more students we're reaching and the more we're able to create connections with them. So music literally gives our class salience for students. Is anybody currently using March Music Madness or getting ready to launch it? We've been doing a ton of catch-up work this 9 weeks. And so we're just getting ready to launch into March Music Madness, but it is one of the favorite things my students do every year. In fact, I already have my bulletin board up and kids have been asking, when do we start Music Madness? When do we start Music Madness? Okay, I see someone has a hand up, but I can't, the way I've got my screen set up, I don't see who you are. So if you have a question, just pop it out now. No? Okay, I'll go on. So to strike the right note with music, that for me is just different ways to use music in class. So listening to music releases oxytocin, and you want to talk about community building. Look at this video clip from a few years ago. Okay, it was also a Spirit Week or Spirit Day, and so everyone was dressed in white because it was Whiteout Day. But I have a big bag of toddler instruments, and every once in a while I'll just pull them out and everybody has to stand up and dance and play their instrument and sing whatever song we have going on. This is Robarte un beso by Carlos Vives and Sebastián Yatra. And we just have had so much fun doing that. And they're just itty bitty, they're literally baby instruments, and they're so cheap. Little egg shakers. These kids were juniors here, and they're now juniors in college. And I'll still get messages back from these kids. Oh, Senora, we had so much fun in your class. We loved getting the instruments out and playing with them. There we go. Music can, oh, you have that, Gary, you have the same coffee bag from Costa Rica. I love it too. That is now a pillow in my classroom. And kids lay on it all the time when we're watching our videos and TV shows. So music can be used to reel students in. You can use it as a hook. You can use it to pre-teach vocabulary for an upcoming novel or any kind of unit, or you can set the scene for a novel or a chapter in a novel. I have students who are like, Senora, play my intro music as they're walking in the room. And so we'll jam out for just a few minutes to a song, or a kid will be like, play my outro music. And as we leave the class, we'll have some kind of song that we play. You also can do it while students are working independently or in groups. It's great to fill the space, the sound space. And I have found that even during a test or a quiz, if I play just some quiet music in the background, it doesn't even have to be, it can just be classical music. It's heart rate's lower, so stress lowers, and students just feel more comfortable. And really right now, it's all about our students being comfortable in our classrooms. You can use music to teach basic culture and deep culture. This is a song by Cheyenne, and it's a remake actually. And all the clips are from Mérida, Mexico. And we have had so much fun learning about the different views. You can set it up, the different views that you see in the song, the different scenes. You can set it up where you do a screenshot and you tell students, go research this, find out about this, and then they share with the class. Or you can set it up just as a lesson that you create. You can movie talk or clip chat the geography of a video. You can build empathy, teach respect and inclusion using music. This is perhaps the most brilliant way I've seen of combining culture and music in the language classroom. John Seifert has a respect playlist on his website, and I have it linked in the handout that I will put in the chat here at the end. And it links right to his blog post about how he uses music to foster understanding and respect for others. I think that is amazing and beautiful. And right now, my students need understanding and empathy of other people. They're so involved in their own lives and the own trauma that they've experienced for the past few years, both educationally and from the pandemic and just in every part of their life, that they need to remember what it's like to see others in a different light. So music as your forte, or at least as your storyline. Let me pause first here for real quick. Does anybody have any questions so far? You can pop them in the chat or you can unmute.
I've been keeping an eye on the chat, JJ, and I haven't seen anything there just yet.
Okay, all right. All right, we'll trudge along here. So you can create a unit from a music video. This is my favorite way of using music in class. Well, apart from March Music Madness, this is my favorite way. to use music in class. So I work on finding a catchy song with a cute video storyline, and I take screenshots. This is Muchacha by Gente de Zona and Becky G. And it has a really cute video that goes with it. She is a female mechanic, which she's breaking boundaries here. And you can talk about women's roles. And jobs that we want versus jobs that we have, jobs that we would like to pursue versus ones that are easy for us to attain. And so she's a female mechanic, but she still wants to be kind of Cinderella-y. So she still is in touch with her feminine side. It is an adorable video. Take screenshots and tell the story. Then you decide on the structures that you're going to use. So I recommend anywhere between 3 and 6 new structures for your students. Fewer than 3, and you're going to have a really fast story. More than 6, and you're really going to overwhelm your students. So anywhere between 3 and 6. And I always post the structure in Spanish, and I give the translation in English. I have anchor charts all over my room. And so I also have them on anchor charts for students, so they can always refer to them while we're doing the story. Then you're going to create your slide deck. I use slidesgo.com almost exclusively. No ads. It's easy to find what you need. There literally are thousands of options to choose from. There are free ones, and then there are premium ones. I use so many that I go ahead and pay the small fee to have the premium access. Research the artist or group that you're going to include in your unit. This is Sistema Solar, and by including info about the band in their slide deck before or after I tell the story, I'm adding culture, and I'm going deeper into that cultural iceberg. My students absolutely love this band, and they love learning about them. Then I do a little bit of research on the region or the artist to add even more cultural awareness, so that we can talk about demographics, natural resources, climate, politics, anything that you want, you can talk about. And this is a picture from Colombia, which is where Sistema Solar is from. Then I create some song activities that might just be a cloze activity. Clozes aren't terrible. They're not always the best use of your time, but they're also not a terrible use either. This is actually a song, Me Gusta la Vida, by Funambulista, which he's from Spain. And my friends and I got together at one of our monthly teaching with comprehensible input meetings, and we created this together. So this is linked in the resources that I'll share at the end. It's a free resource that I share out. And we just start with really, really, really small, basic words to help students understand the song in the end. And then it goes into a little bit of geography. This is definitely a level 1, and you can adapt it and up it to any level. Chorus play. I play around a lot with the chorus, especially during March Music Madness. Round 1 will be, we watch the videos and decide, we watch the full length video and talk about them and decide what we like in class. Round 2, a lot of times I'll take the chorus and we'll put the lyrics in order. Or maybe we'll match the English with the Spanish definitions. Round 3, we'll maybe make some predictions with the chorus music. I might pull out a few words and have students write a quick poem or 3 or 4 sentences using those words. We might play along with my kinder music, my baby music toddler instruments, dance. Sometimes I'll print out phrases and pass them out to students. And every time a student hears their phrase, they have to jump up and hold their phrase up in the air and then sit down really fast. phrase or word that really helps with learning to hear the spaces between words and for students learning to hear Spanish. And then I tie everything together from my music video clips to my music activities. Now I tie it all together with an embedded reading. And you might even begin your lesson, your unit, with the easiest version of an embedded reading, and you might end it with the most advanced form. So the very basic storyline that you have in your movie talk, you might use that at the very beginning, the very basic version, and then halfway through, you might give them the second version, and the second version of your embedded reading will be just a little more advanced. It'll have more details, longer sentences, things like that. And then at the very end, I like to give them something more challenging. So if I have told my story in the past tense, I am going to, in my very last one, I'm going to change it to the present tense version, so that they can get a mental representation of the words regardless of the tense. If I've told the story in class in the present tense, then my advanced version is going to be in the past tense. The same reason, just to give them, so they know the same story from different perspectives. Then students need to do something with their knowledge. So listening to it and reading it are receptive responses, but then they need to actually do something with what they've learned. For lower levels, it may be just a simple timed write. Intermediate levels might take the new vocabulary that they've acquired and put it into a new form with a writing prompt or a picture prompt. And then upper levels can compare and reflect. All of our levels can do Venn diagrams to help process and focus learning. And students can act a scene out from the video that you created, or they can write a new ending. You can have a lip sync contest. I've done that, where students pick a song and record themselves lip syncing the song. One student and her friends went on spring break together, and their dad, or the student's dad, was the principal of our school at the time. And she incorporated all of them into her lip sync video and brought it back to school. So you can just do all kinds of things. So my conclusion, it seems a little early to be concluding, but that's because I have a lot of resources that I want to show you. In the handout that I'm going to give you, let's do this. I'm going to stop the share real quick. And I'm going to pull up my, here we go. There it is. Sorry for the long pause. There we go. Okay, can you all see the handout that I'm looking at right now?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so in this handout that I will link in the chat, I have a free music lesson that I'm going to share with you here just in a second, that goes along with a student notebook, the Me Gusta la Vida activity, John Seifert's playlist, and his blog post, books that I pulled all of this information from to put in, brain breaks that include music, novels, and how I've used some of these novels with music, a TED Talk So there's just so much in here. Lots of activities that I've used before with music, and that is all going to go. Remove that in the chat right now. And then also, so that's in the chat, the handout is in the chat. And then also, way back when I used to have time, I created this music lesson. And I'm gonna give this to you for free. It's on my Teachers Pay Teachers site. But if you wanna delve into just learning about music and genres and elements and benefits, you can use this slideshow. You can adapt it up or down because it's 100% editable. It starts with questions. What genre of music do you prefer? And you give students options. There are jam boards linked in. Where do you listen to music? In your opinion, is this music? And students get to say, yes, in my opinion, music, or no, this is not music. Students love to share their opinions about things that they like, especially about music. Is this music? After playing a few minutes of this, not even a few minutes, just a few seconds, my students are like, Senora, what are you doing to us? Why are you making us listen to this? And then there's Mark Anthony. Is Mark Anthony, does he make music? Skrillex, you have to include something that students are gonna love to hate. Or that students actually love and you have just validated them. There's a lot of screeching and a lot of hard to hear noises in that video, which is why I included it. Music, Latina music has different genres than music from the US. So each icon actually takes you to a style of music. But what exactly is music? There are many basic elements, and they include rhythm, melody, harmony, and it goes on to describe what each of those is for your students. Your students have a chance of, you are modeling for them here what surprised you about what you learned about rhythm, and then you're really scaffolding them and setting them up. There are some hand clapping games, so it doesn't really matter what your language is. You can incorporate the hand clapping games. There are no words. You just clap the rhythms and students can join in.
This is a game called Bim Bum. We'll show you how we do it and then we'll teach you the steps. Usually you keep going a few times. We're just going to show it. Bum, bim, bum, bim, bum, bitty, bitty, bum, bitty, bum, bitty, bitty, bum, bim, bum. Bim, bum, bitty, bitty, bum, bitty, bum, bitty, bitty, bum, bim, bum.
So my students really, really, really love learning and doing that. We talk about melody, and then you support them again with what surprised you, what did you learn about it. There just is a lot. Oh, and this slide, if you click on the record player, this will take you to Citizen DJ, where everyone can make their own unique music. It's like having your own little MIDI board, right? But it's on this website. You learn about music and health, and then you can support them again. What did you learn? And you're giving them options that they can answer. Then what did you already know? There's an activity, what do you meme? Where they have to take a song lyric and an image and create their own meme from it. So I love this one. If you're a Senior Wooly fan, tengo tu foto para volverme loco. I have your photo, and it's driving me crazy. We talk about how music is activism, social activism, and this link will take you to a video about Puerto Rican bomba and why and how that was designed as resistance. So there's just a ton in here. What confused you about music? There's a smash doodle activity with good directions and all of that. And so I will add the link to, well, the link to that is actually in the handout as well, right here, the student music notebook. At this free music lesson, and then the student music notebook that you can either print it out, I print it out, but you can assign it digitally as well. And there's the Me Gusta la Vida song activity. Okay, so I think we have some time. What kinds of questions do we have, or what kinds of ways do you use music, or what stood out the most for you?
I love incorporating music with the vocabulary, especially when they are learning a new vocabulary or the numbers or the days of the week, anything. And it's easier for them to remember when we are incorporating music or melodies that they already know, that they are familiar with.
It is. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier.
And they enjoy it so much.
They do. They do. And I'll tell you, this year's students are the toughest I've ever had. I don't know about you all, but this year's students are just hands down the toughest group of kids I've ever met. And I'll do my music activities with them, and they will act like they are the most bored creatures. Like there isn't anything that I can do that will surprise them or interest them or make them happy. But then 3 weeks later, when I'm playing the song as our intro or our outro, they all start dancing and singing all the words, because for the last 3 weeks, they've been listening to that song that they acted to me like was the most boring thing they'd ever did. And so I encourage you, if you have students like my students, and I'm sure you do, I have 6 class periods of them, not just a couple students in a class. I have 6 class periods of really tough kids. I encourage you to not take it personally, because they're not bored with you. They're not mad at you. It's the system of education right now that they're trying to weed their way through it as well. So Maribel asks, do you assess any particular music components after you use this slide? Do you want them to learn the difference between ritmo and melodia? Yeah, so you can. There's no wrong way to do it. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. If they're super engaged, I don't really have to assess them, because just by the fact that they're engaged shows me that they've got it, that they're understanding it. If they're not showing me outwardly that they're engaged, then at the end of class, I probably will do a 5 or 10 question exit ticket quiz about what we did in class that day, to show me that they're understanding it. So you can play that by ear, and it can be whatever works for your classes. You don't even have to assess, like I teach 3 sections of Spanish 3. I don't give them all a quiz on the same day. Some days, if the class is super, super into it, they don't need a quiz. If they're super, super not acting like they're into it, well, then yeah, maybe that section needs a quiz. Yeah, Dulce, I have classes that are mute all the time too, and you have to pull their answers. Yeah. And Gary says, this is a great note. They may not always show that they love something, but they really secretly do enjoy it, right? It's not cool to show your teacher that you like them like it was in the past. It's not cool to like school. And it is definitely not cool to answer out loud right now. But don't take it personally. It's not about you specifically. It's really about them and who they are right now. It's been difficult to get output. It really has been. It's been rough, but they always have an opinion about the songs and sharing. So what are the most difficult things to do? What's the most rigorous thing that you can do in a language that is not your first language? I think it's forming an opinion, expressing the opinion, and defending that opinion. And if we give them, when we use music, we give them something they already want to express an opinion about. They form it instantly. We give them the tools to express it, and then maybe not in level 1, maybe not in level 2, maybe not even in level 3 for a lot of kids, especially this year's level 3, who were in the shutdown and their brain just doesn't learn the same way. They were in the pandemic shutdown as middle schoolers, and they don't learn the same way. But maybe next year in level 4, they're going to be more willing to take the risk and actually express and defend that opinion. Yep, it is not cool. I have really had a difficult time getting kids to get words out. Kara asked, have you ever used a song that students didn't really like, but then learned more about it and ended up loving it? If so, what song? Lots of songs. So a lot of my students didn't like the Cheyenne video, Madre Tierra. They thought it was cheesy. They already think that Cheyenne is cheesy. He's definitely a generation ago as far as what's cool. But then once they learned about it, once they learned about all the places that video showed, they loved it. They loved it. They absolutely loved it. What is my favorite unit based on a song? That is so easy to answer, Kara. Yo Voy Ganao is my absolute favorite song to use in class. I use it to teach about Colombia because it's by Sistema Solar. So I use it to teach about Colombia, and we learn about what their ecosystem is like and the kinds of things that they grow that naturally grow there and are natural resources. That's what I'm trying to say. And so through that, then we talk about the different industries that have built up around their natural resources. And then we learn about Sistema Solar. Then we watch the video. It is one of the most fun, funky videos, and you cannot help but at least bob your head to it because the rhythm is amazing. We get up and we dance, and we do it to, I use it to pre-teach some vocabulary before I teach Myra Canyon's Bucaneros. Los Bucaneros y el Templo del Jaguar. Used to be called La Vampirata. It is this crazy engaging story with, yes, and so it has emeralds in it, and so we can talk about coffee and esmeraldas and all kinds of things. And the El Templo del Jaguar, the novel, talks about that's what they're going to find is an emerald, and so it is just hands down the favorite song. And Christy Placido has a lesson on TPT that already has an embedded reading. So I bought her lesson and then I created a slideshow to go with it. And then it just it's one of those that my kids love it every year. So it's something that just evolves and grows each year. The name is Yo Voy Ganao. I'll type it here. The band is Sistema Solar. And it's Yo Voy Ganao. So, and they are fishermen, and they are living life and singing about how they are on top of the world. Ariane Dowd has excellent resources for everything. Everything that she has is an excellent resource, but yes, her resources for that song are really good. Is it important to me that they know the lyrics in English or just the general message? I don't have a strong opinion. Sometimes they need to know the lyrics for the activity that we're doing and, to understand the words, and sometimes they don't. If it's just like my Friday music day, or my Tuesday in between units, and I'm doing music that day, and it's maybe a simple cloze activity, I will go through after we've listened to it and after the students have heard the song and after they've chosen the correct words to put in the correct places, I'll go through and make sure they understand what the song is about at the end of class, just so that they know. But sometimes just the general meaning, just the gist. Sometimes just the story that's told in the music video is all that I want from the song. I don't really need the lyrics. I want the music video information. Martha says, so many connections could be used in conjunction with Encanto. Yes. Yep. And what is the song with Carlos Vives and other Colombian artists that feature gorgeous sweeping panoramic views? So what is that song? My students love that one too. I'll have to think about that for a minute.
It's driving me crazy. The views are gorgeous. There are other artists in it.
There are, and you see him singing in a studio with them, as well as you see them in the mountains. I'll think about it. At some point today, I will remember it and it'll go in the chat. It might not be during my presentation, but it might be during somebody else's, but it will come to me.
I'll keep Googling too. I'm still recovering from traveling with students last week.
Yeah. Terry, I'm sorry, I don't have resources for other languages. I need to put together a toolbox. That is a great suggestion. I think I need to put together a toolbox and put that on my website, and just collect resources from other languages. Tierra del Olvido. Is that the song, Martha?
Yes, I knew as soon as I put off my, opened my microphone and admitted that I couldn't remember it, then I got back on Google and found it.
Yay! I don't have to know. Okay, I think we have just a couple more minutes.
Someone asked in the chat, JJ, about your microphone that you're wearing on your lapel.
Oh, Is it working really well? This is my first time to use it.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So it is from Amazon. Let me see if I have the link. I don't know if I have the link for that or not. But oh, you know what? 1 second, I'm gonna step away. I've got the box that it came in. I'll be right back. It is the K35 Pro wireless lavalier microphone. K35 Pro wireless lavalier microphone. It says it's plug and play, and it literally is. It comes with the microphone, the connector, and like 5 or 6 different cord types so that you can connect it into your telephone, directly into your computer. I have it connected to my adapter that has a whole bunch of things connected into it. And I just bought that on Amazon, and I guarantee you it was not expensive, because that is not how I roll. It says it's highly sensitive, and it will do up to 20 meters of accessible reception. So if you're talking to someone, it'll pick up their voice as well. Although, like I said, this is my first time using it, so I'm not positive. I talked about a video that has pictures from Merida. What is the name of the video? That is by Cheyenne, and it is Madre Tierra. It's a lot of fun. If you have advanced students, you can also have them create. You can pop the screenshots in, and they can write the captions. You don't even have to be advanced to do that. You can be level 1 and do that. Use the language that you know. Just provide students the screenshots. To keep them from cheating and using Google Classroom, I recommend that you print them out and give them to them on paper. I don't do a lot that students have to actually type independently on a device, because they'll just look up the answers. And it's not cheating to them. It's used literally. It is not cheating to them. It's like, well, Google's out there, I'm supposed to use it, because this is the Google generation. Google's always been out there for them. Oh, Terry says that I'm one of the coaches at CI Summit in Savannah in July. I am. Yay! Can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. Okay. I think we're good.
Thank you so much, JJ. That was awesome. And it makes me want to like listen to music, and I want to, just explore all the possibilities there. And yes, like Terry said in the chat, you will be presenting at the CI Summit. And one of the coaches, yes. So if you haven't yet, you should check out everything we have with the CI Summit, and the game I'm about to play actually involves that. So, but thank you again, JJ. And, and we'll see you soon, I'm sure, if not in Savannah next.